Forget your precious electricity. Forget your hoarded batteries that died 6 months ago. Forget those candles that smell like someone set fire to a gymnasium. The future of wasteland illumination is squishy, it's wet, and it glows like the dreams of 1,000 radioactive fireflies. Today, we're making bioluminescent lamps. All right, let's get scientific for approximately 90 seconds before I start cackling again. Bioluminescence. Big word. Impressive at bunker parties. But what does it actually mean for those of us who spent the pre-apocalypse years not getting advanced biology degrees? In the simplest possible terms, some living things make their own light. They're not reflecting light. They're not storing light. They are producing light through chemical reactions happening inside their tiny little bodies. It's like they swallowed a glow stick, except the glow stick is their entire existence. Before everything went sideways, you could find bioluminescent creatures in the ocean, certain jellyfish, some deep-sea fish with terrifying faces, and most importantly for our purposes, those are microscopic algae that glow when disturbed. You've probably seen footage of glowing ocean waves. That was them. Millions of tiny organisms throwing a light show because a wave had the audacity to jostle them. Now, here in the wasteland, things have gotten interesting. The combination of abandoned industrial sites, standing water, strange runoff, and whatever else has been brewing in the dark corners of our collapsed civilization has created some truly spectacular glowing organisms. I'm talking algae that glows blue-green in stagnant pools. I'm talking slime molds in caves that pulse with an eerie yellow light. I'm talking about the mysterious goop in those old chemical barrels that I am almost certain is safe to handle with proper precautions. The point is, nature, in its infinite creativity, has handed us free lighting. Cold light that produces no heat, requires no fuel, and runs entirely on the power of microscopic organisms doing their microscopic thing. This is renewable energy, my friends. This is the future. Now we arrive at the procurement phase, which is a fancy way of saying going outside in the dark to collect mysterious, glowing substances from questionable locations. Safety first, fellow survivors. I cannot stress this enough. I have made mistakes. I have touched things I should not have touched. I learned. You will learn from my learning. Rule number 1. Always bring containers with secure lids. Glass jars are ideal. Old pickle jars, mason jars, laboratory specimen containers, if you're lucky enough to raid a hospital. Anything that seals tight and won't react with whatever you're scooping into it. Rule number 2. Wear gloves. I don't care if they're rubber kitchen gloves, leather work gloves, or those fancy surgical gloves you found in that abandoned clinic. Your bare hands should not touch unknown glowing material. This seems obvious, yet I have watched fellow survivors scoop glowing pond water with their bare hands like they were at a spa. They were not at a spa. Rule number 3. Bring a stick. A long stick, for poking things before you get close to them. The poke stick has saved my life at least 4 times. Now, where do we find these luminous treasures? Stagnant pools and puddles are your most common source. Look for standing water that has been undisturbed for extended periods, particularly near old industrial areas. The glow is easiest to spot at night, obviously. You're looking for a faint blue-green shimmer on the water's surface or along the edges. Caves are excellent hunting grounds. Many cave systems now host colonies of bioluminescent fungi and slime molds that cling to the walls and ceilings. These often glow yellow or pale green, and they're usually found in areas with some humidity and organic material to feed on. Old tanks and barrels at abandoned facilities sometimes contain glowing bacterial colonies. Now, I must emphasize, approach these with extreme caution. Not all glowing substances are biological. Some are very much not biological and will ruin your entire week. Biological glow tends to be softer, sometimes pulsing, and concentrated in clumps or films rather than uniformly distributed. When collecting, you want to gather both the glowing organisms and some of their native water or substrate. Don't just scoop the glow and leave. These organisms are adapted to their environment. Taking them without their home water is like kidnapping someone and expecting them to thrive in a completely foreign atmosphere. They will not thrive. They will die, and your lamp will become a jar of sad, dark disappointment. Collect generous samples, more than you think you need. Some won't survive the journey, some won't adapt to your container. Having backup glow is essential. Congratulations, you have successfully transported glowing organisms back to your bunker without spilling them, dropping them, or accidentally getting them in your mouth. This is more than some people can say. You know who you are. Now we need to keep these little luminous friends alive and glowing. This requires understanding what they need, which is surprisingly simple. First, water. Your bioluminescent organisms need to stay wet. If they dry out, they die. If they die, they stop glowing. This is non-negotiable. Keep your container at least half full of water at all times. If the water level drops, top it off with clean water. Rainwater is ideal, but any non-chlorinated water will work. If your only option is old tap water, let it sit in an open container for a day or two to let any residual chlorine evaporate. Second, nutrients. Your glowing organisms need to eat. The good news is, they're not picky. A tiny pinch of sugar every week or two provides energy for algae. A small piece of oat or grain every few weeks feeds slime molds. For bacterial colonies, a drop of milk or a microscopic bit of meat broth works wonders. The key word here is tiny. Overfeeding leads to bacterial overgrowth, waterfouling, and a container of dead goop that smells like regret. Third, oxygen. This is where many wasteland scientists go wrong. Glowing organisms need airflow. They're performing chemical reactions that require oxygen. A completely sealed container will slowly suffocate your glow. The solution is aeration. Your container needs to breathe, but not so much that it dries out or lets contaminants in. We'll cover the specific setup in the assembly section, but the principle is simple. Some air exchange, controlled and filtered. Fourth, temperature. Most bioluminescent organisms prefer cool to moderate temperatures. Don't leave your lamp near heat sources. Don't let it freeze, and definitely don't put it in direct sunlight. Sunlight will actually suppress the glow. These organisms evolve to shine in the dark, and they get confused and stop glowing when it's bright. Finally, occasional agitation. Many bioluminescent organisms, especially dinoflagellates, glow brightest when disturbed. A gentle swirl of the container triggers their light response. Think of it as petting your lamp. Your lamp likes to be petted. Give it a swirl when you need light, and watch it reward you with luminescence. The moment has arrived. The construction phase. The assembly of your very own living, glowing, magnificent lamp. Let me walk you through this step by step. Step 1. Select your container. Ideally, you want a clear glass jar with a wide mouth, easier for maintenance, and allows maximum light transmission. A quart-sized mason jar is perfect. A large pickle jar works beautifully. Even a glass bottle with the top cut off can serve, though that requires additional scavenging skills and steady hands. Step 2. Clean your container thoroughly. Wash it with whatever soap you have available, rinse it multiple times, and let it dry completely. Residual soap or contaminants will kill your organisms faster than you can say, "Why isn't it glowing anymore?" Step 3. Prepare your aeration system. This is crucial. You need a way for air to enter the container without letting in dust, debris, insects, or rogue spores. The simplest method is a cloth filter. Take a piece of tightly woven cloth, an old t-shirt, a bandana, medical gauze, anything with a fine weave. Cut a square large enough to cover your jar opening with several inches of overlap. This will be your filter membrane. If your jar has a metal lid, punch several small holes in the lid using a nail or knife point. These holes allow air exchange. Place the cloth square over the jar mouth, then screw the perforated lid over it. The cloth filters the air coming through the holes. If you don't have a metal lid, you can secure the cloth directly over the jar, opening with string, rubber bands, or wire. Leave the cloth slightly loose so it forms a small dome. This creates better airflow than a taut surface. Step 4. Add your organisms and their native water. Pour or scoop your collected material into the prepared container. Fill it approximately halfway to 2/3 full. Leave room for air at the top. Step 5. Place your lamp in a cool, dark location. A shelf in your bunker, a corner away from foot traffic, anywhere stable where it won't be knocked over. Step 6. Wait. The organisms may be stressed from collection and transport. Give them a day or two to settle in before expecting peak glow performance. They've been through a lot. Be patient with them. And there you have it. A living lamp powered by nothing but biology and your own magnificent wasteland ingenuity. Now, I must confess something to you, my fellow survivors. The first time I successfully created a bioluminescent lamp, the first time I swirled that jar and watched it erupt into soft blue light, I may have lost control of my composure slightly. And by slightly, I mean I threw my hands in the air and screamed, "It's alive," at the top of my lungs, causing my bunker neighbor to bang on the wall and threaten me with a crossbow. Worth it. Absolutely worth it. There is something profoundly satisfying about creating light from living things, about harnessing nature's own chemistry to push back the darkness. It feels like power. Good power. Ethical power. The power of a benevolent genius who has conquered the night using nothing but science and determination and a jar of pond scum. I encourage you to embrace this feeling when your lamp first glows. Cackle if you need to. Raise the jar above your head triumphantly. Declare yourself the master of bioluminescence. You've earned it. I should also warn you, the glow can be unpredictable. I once created a lamp using organisms from a cave in Sector 9. Beautiful yellow glow, very steady, very reliable, until one night when I gave it a particularly vigorous swirl, and it erupted with a flash so bright it temporarily blinded me and caused me to drop the jar. Glass everywhere, glowing slime everywhere. I spent 2 hours cleaning it up by the light of its own spilled glow, which I maintain was poetic, even if it was also incredibly annoying. The organisms survived, by the way. They're remarkably resilient. I scooped them into a new container, and they continued glowing as if nothing had happened. No hard feelings, apparently. We've moved past it. Another time, I created a lamp that glowed in unexpected colors. Started blue-green, which was normal. Then, over the course of several weeks, shifted to a deep purple that I had never seen before. Beautiful and slightly concerning. I still have no explanation for this. I've chosen to believe my lamp achieved enlightenment. The point is, working with living organisms means working with unpredictability. They will surprise you. They will behave in ways you didn't anticipate. This is part of the joy of wasteland science. Embrace the chaos. Document it. Share your findings with other survivors so we can collectively expand our understanding of post-apocalyptic bioluminescence science. So your lamp is glowing, but perhaps you want more glow, brighter glow, longer-lasting glow. I understand completely. The hunger for luminescence is real. Here are techniques I have refined through extensive experimentation. For brighter glow, the key is population density. More organisms means more light. You can increase density by starting with more material or by letting your existing population multiply over time. If you maintain good conditions, proper nutrients, aeration, temperature, your organisms will reproduce. Within weeks, you may notice the glow intensifying as the population grows. You can also combine organisms from different sources. Some of my brightest lamps contain mixtures algae from one location, bacterial colonies from another, all coexisting in beautiful luminous harmony. Not all organisms play well together, so observe carefully when mixing. If the glow diminishes instead of improving, separate them back into individual containers. For a longer-lasting glow, the glow from most organisms is triggered by disturbance and fades over time if left still. To maintain steady illumination, you need periodic agitation. The simplest method is manual swirling. Just pick up the jar and give it a gentle rotation every few minutes when you need light. This triggers the bioluminescent response repeatedly. For hands-free operation, some survivors have created simple agitation systems: a pendulum that bumps the jar, a platform that rocks gently. Any mechanism that provides regular mild disturbance without damaging the organisms. Another factor in glow duration is the day-night cycle. Many bioluminescent organisms have internal rhythms that make them glow brighter at night. If you can simulate a natural light cycle, exposing them to indirect daylight or firelight during day hours and keeping them dark at night, they may develop more predictable and vigorous glow patterns. Finally, for glow that lasts across generations, keep backup cultures. Maintain a second container with a portion of your organisms fed and cared for but held in reserve. If your primary lamp dies, and eventually all lamps die, you have a source to start fresh. Think of it as an insurance policy, a glowing inheritance. Now we must discuss safety, because I care about your survival and also because I have personally experienced what happens when safety is ignored. Containment is paramount. Your bioluminescent organisms should stay in their container. Do not let them escape into your living space, your water supply, or the local environment. While most are harmless, some can cause problems if they spread uncontrollably, fouling water sources, outcompeting native organisms, or colonizing places they shouldn't colonize. If you spill, clean it up thoroughly. Collect any visible organisms, dispose of contaminated material away from water sources, and wash the affected area. Contamination goes both ways. Don't let foreign substances get into your lamp. Mold spores, bacteria from your hands, random debris. All of these can disrupt your carefully cultivated ecosystem. This is why we use cloth filters, why we handle containers with care, and why we wash our hands before maintenance. Speaking of maintenance, some organisms produce spores or release particles into the air when disturbed. This is more common with fungal bioluminescence than algae. When working with your lamp, especially during feeding or water changes, work in well-ventilated areas when possible. Don't lean directly over an open container and breathe deeply. If you have a cloth mask or face covering, consider wearing it during intensive maintenance. Watch for signs of trouble. Foul odors, cloudy water, dramatic color changes, or sudden loss of glow can all indicate problems. Dead organisms decay, and decay products can range from simply unpleasant to legitimately toxic. If your lamp starts smelling bad, don't sniff it closely to investigate. Take it to a well-ventilated area or outside, open it carefully, and assess from a safe distance. Do not ingest your lamp contents. This seems obvious, yet I feel compelled to say it. Do not drink the glow water. Do not eat the slime. No matter how beautiful it looks, no matter how much you wonder what it tastes like, no matter how hungry you are, this is not food. This is lighting. Finally, if you or anyone experiences irritation, rashes, respiratory issues, or any other symptoms after exposure to your organisms, discontinue contact immediately. Not all glow is created equal, and some varieties may cause reactions in sensitive individuals. Your lamp should bring joy, not medical problems. And there we have it, my wonderfully resilient survivors. You are now equipped with the knowledge to create your own bioluminescent lamp, joining the proud ranks of wasteland scientists who have said no to darkness and yes to magnificent glowing goop. I want you to imagine something with me for a moment. Imagine a future where every bunker, every settlement, every survivor outpost has shelves lined with softly glowing jars. No more fumbling in the dark. No more hoarding batteries like precious gems. No more burning precious fuel just to see your own hands in front of your face. Instead, we have light that lives, light that breathes, light that reproduces and spreads and grows brighter with care. This is not a fantasy. This is achievable. This is happening right now in bunkers across the wasteland, wherever survivors like you take the time to learn, to experiment, to cultivate light in the darkness. Glowing goo is not just the future of wasteland illumination. Glowing goo is a statement, a declaration that we refuse to sit in the dark, that we will harness the power of nature itself to light our way forward. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Gamma's Wasteland Workshop. If this tutorial helped you, share the knowledge with other survivors. Teach them. Spread the glow, literally and figuratively. Until next time, keep scavenging, keep experimenting, and keep those organisms well fed. Stay glowing, my friends. Stay glowing.